What is up, XRP community? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. I want you to read what's on the screen right now. I'll make the text a little bit better, but for reasons related to YouTube, sorry, there's a lawnmower outside my window if you can hear that. I can't read this, okay? So it says in 2021, a director, this guy right here, his name's Charlie. He's a CNN technical director, and basically a whistleblower found him and had this interaction with him all on camera, talking about once this thing right here that I've highlighted is done with and people are tired of it, they're going to use climate type events, okay? In the U.S., we've had a crazy past few weeks, and it's not just in the U.S. now. Hurricane Helene, devastating North Carolina. Inland, the worst inland hurricane we've probably ever seen in my lifetime. This place is 2,000 feet above sea level, and they had like 15-foot storm surges. You had, at the same time, a lot of people don't know about this, when Hurricane Helene was ravaging the USA, Hurricane John struck Mexico, south of Acapulco, and Hurricane John hit the same coastal area of Mexico where Hurricane Otis ravaged it last year. You have Hurricane Kirk about to hit Europe, and then we have the potentially worst hurricane in the USA in the past 50 years about to hit landfall on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I know this isn't a weather channel, but when you think about all of these storms occurring, in the most recent Hurricane Milton that's about to hit in 2 days is the fastest growing Category 5 ever. Just a few hours ago, in the early morning hours, the wind speeds of this thing were in the 140 to 150 degree. Just 2 days ago, it was some disorganized tropical storm, wasn't even a hurricane. Now, it's literally about to set records for the highest wind speeds we've ever seen in a hurricane. It just makes you think all of these events happening doesn't add up to me. And do you guys remember in the last election when the whole United States was shut down and a lot of voting was done via mail? Well, it looks like as of October 4th, the U.S. Embassy in Rwanda is calling about an outbreak of something called this Marburg virus. And if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to switch to the crypto aspects of this video now. But this guy, Economy Ninja, has been posting a lot of good stuff about this on X. Don't give in to the fear. Fear breeds control, but you do need to be informed about this stuff. Now, as we transition to this crypto section, this is Brad Garlinghouse in a recent video talking about cross-border payments and how they're just the tip of the Ripple iceberg. Take a listen.
Crypto is helping transform finance businesses today in a few different ways. And I think one of the challenges for the industry has been to focus on solving real problems for real customers. And Ripple, obviously, from its earliest days, focused on the problem around cross-border payments. That's a point of a lot of friction as measured by speed and cost. And by focusing there, we've been able to have a big impact on that, relatively small piece. But I think over the next years, you're going to see many financial transactions where a middleman sits, a middle transaction, an intermediary. Those will get removed, and we'll use blockchain and other digital asset type technologies to remove that friction. And I think all of society will benefit from improving the efficiency of those systems. I think you'll see that. Certainly, you've seen it in securities settlement as an opportunity. The financial transactions around bonds, around derivatives, a lot of these things take a while to settle, and the friction associated actually holds back the industry. Insurance is an industry I think you're going to see touched. Trade finance is an industry that really Ripple, some of our customers have invited us to participate in. And you've seen experimentation around identity in real estate and title management. And these are all examples where I think it's so hard to predict where this will go, in the same way that 25 years ago, when I first got involved in the Internet of Information, I never could have predicted on my smartphone I'd press a button and I'd have a car picking me up minutes later.
So it's important to realize Ripple's much more than just cross-border payments. In the specific project we have right now that Ripple is pushing so heavily is their stablecoin. And their stablecoin is going to be the only other regulated stablecoin in these major markets besides USDC. We just saw the European Union banning Tether because of its shady reserves and a lot of other reasons. It lacks regulatory clarity in a lot of regions where USDC does, and Ripple will in the future. Ripple has formally said in Brett Garlinghouse's statements, they're just waiting to launch this stablecoin until they have pure regulatory clarity. They've already dealt with the SEC when it comes to the crypto token XRP. They don't want to deal with the SEC and have this same kind of yearly long legal war about their new project. But Ripple is so much more than cross-border payments. And this isn't even crypto related, but check this out. Saudi Arabia spending $2 billion for the construction of the world's new tallest building. Oh, this was interesting. It's going to be 500 feet, 600 feet taller than the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which formerly was the tallest. And if you guys follow the XRP community, you probably know or recognize this lawyer, John Deaton. He's actually running for a seat in the U.S. government against this lady right here, who's a career-long politician and I would say very corrupt. Politics was made for people to add value to society in the private sector and then be a public servant, right? That's what they call it, to the government, to your people. Maybe that's how it originated. It's not like that anymore. Whenever you have people that have $200,000 salaries with $100 million net worths, got to ask yourself what's really going on here. I'd love to see John Deaton win. I couldn't even tell you one policy that he has. But I respect the guy. I know he's smart and has a lot of similar opinions to me. And quite frankly, I don't really care what his opinions are. I know that's pretty ignorant. When you have someone like this, a Mitch McConnell type figure, a Nancy Pelosi type figure, I'm not saying it's just Democrats. You have the Republican career politicians like Dick Cheney as well, and the Bushes. So let's give our guy John Deaton a boost. Watch these debates. There's going to be 2 debates in October. I love watching political debates. This one's going to be interesting because it's the first time we have someone in the XRP community in a large-scale presidential debate. And the Bank of England put this out 4 days ago. The Bank of England has announced that it has undertaken its latest UK market-wide simulation exercise, CIMEX 24, in partnership with UK Finance, the financial sector, HM Treasury, and the FCA. The simulation is set out to exercise the UK financial sector's ability to respond to a infrastructure failure that would require a total shutdown and restart of the financial sector. Good analogy, flipping the switch. And this guy speculates, not to be a theorist, but is this global financial reset real? Because the Bank of England is preparing for something exactly like that. In BlackRock, this video from BlackRock is going viral on crypto Twitter because they had made some predictions. Obviously, BlackRock's getting involved with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies now, and they had predictions about the growth of crypto as an entire space compared to the internet and mobile phones. And what they say is pretty crazy bullish.
Head of thematic investing at BlackRock, I really spend a lot of my time thinking about the future and some of the disruptive changes that are impacting the world and society and the economy and our portfolios around us. Oftentimes, this is about disruptive technologies. Oftentimes, it's about societal changes. But what we found with blockchain and digital assets is that in some ways, this is one of the fastest growing technologies we've seen in the last few years. On the right-hand side of the chart, you can see our adoption curve. This is just looking at how quickly certain assets are adopted by society. And you can see that blockchain and digital assets are being adopted faster than major revolutions before it, whether that's the internet or whether that's cell phones. And there's a couple of reasons for this. The first reason is just we're living in a more digital economy than ever before. If we're consuming things online, streaming videos, playing video games, buying digital content, it makes sense to have digitally native assets to conduct those transactions, particularly when there's, secondly, and importantly, in a year like this year, where over half the world's population is voting for new leadership, not just the elections in the United States, in Mexico, in India, and the European Union, we're seeing more geopolitical risk than before, and in fact, declining trust in institutions, whether that's trust in government institutions for maintaining peace and order, whether that's trust in central banks in terms of keeping inflation under control. More distrust has exacerbated the need for a global monetary alternative. The third we're seeing is demographic changes, the rise of the millennial and Gen Z generation. Millennials, at least in the United States, are set to inherit trillions of dollars are entering peak earnings years in their work and are increasingly playing an important role in the economy. And millennials are very different from previous generations because me, were the first generation to be digitally native, growing up with the internet, growing up with computers. We understand digital better than previous generations, and that means we're more likely to adopt digital currencies. And then finally, what I think has been really important to BlackRock in our journey in the digital asset space has been the maturing of infrastructure in digital assets. We've seen billions of dollars move in venture capital and private equity into digital assets to fund incredible innovation in blockchain. We've seen the regulatory environment evolve to get more constructive around digital assets and how people can buy them. We've seen extremely talented people leave traditional finance to go into DeFi to help lead some of these innovations. And all of this infrastructure has really matured over the last 5 years. So between all of these tailwinds, it's really creating the opportunity for digital assets to gain broader adoption across more investors around the world. With that being said, we're in the early days. 2.9 trillion, it changes every day. Maybe it's slightly higher or slightly lower since we made this slide. But we could have focused thus far our efforts on 2 digital assets, the 2 largest. We feel that between these 2 assets, which represent about 75% of the market cap of the digital asset space, and have some of the most liquidity in the digital assets.
And once these institutional funds, people like the BlackRocks of the world, pile into crypto, that's going to be exponential money we haven't seen in crypto before. These guys have billions and trillions of dollars. They can potentially allocate just a small amount of that, and it's crazy compared to a retail comparison. So BlackRock crypto is more high growth than internet and mobile phones. And this is a statement update from Judge Torres. According to Judge Torres' statement rule, institutions can now utilize XRP. This is a clear indication that the XRP holders community is about to have a big boom, and enjoyment is all over the place in New York right now. There's also a thing going around on the XRP Twitter, and it's one of those faker accounts, and basically that the SEC has a meeting in like a few days, a closed door meeting, and he says, oh, they're talking about a Ripple settlement. It doesn't actually mention XRP at all, but they very well could be discussing things related to Ripple and that. And Robinhood's chief legal officer is to replace Gary Gensler, rumored under the SEC chairman as Trump. This guy, he was either he wasn't the founder. He was the CEO of Bitstamp, okay? Crypto exchange. I believe they didn't delist XRP. So comparing this to Gary Gensler, who just taught like 2 different classes on blockchain tech, this guy's actually been a blockchain founder, executive. He knows the space inside and out. And Trump's obviously said he's very pro-crypto, so I would assume this guy is as well. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. If you made it this far in the video, comment officer in the comment section below when you watch the full video. It's the best way to support the channel, so let me know you're a loyal viewer by commenting that below. Thank you again. Until next time.